Hey, how's it going today? We are getting rolling here into week 3 with some solving absolute value equations. Let's get this over more towards me. Hi, how you doing? There we go. We are going to be taking a look here, just remembering at first what absolute value actually is. And it's a distance, okay? A distance from 0 on a number line. It's always positive or 0, and here's my best way of trying to describe this, okay? When you've got the absolute value of 4, you could have gone 4 to the right, you could have gone 4 to the left. But no matter which way you went ahead, forward 4. I always like to compare this to driving a car. Okay? If you're driving forward, your odometer, where it's telling you the mileage, is going ahead. If you go in reverse, it doesn't go backwards. Okay? So when we talk about distance is going to be positive, and that's what the absolute value bars stand for. So whenever we see the absolute value bars in an equation form, there's a couple of different values I can plug in. Because if I plug in 5, 5 is 5 away from 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5 is 5 away from 0. Excuse me, I misspoke there. And negative 5 is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from 0. Okay? Absolute value of a number, a little bit different than absolute value of a variable. And we'll talk about that as we get going on here. What's inside can be positive or negative. Okay? It's just on what comes out. So, first things first. Okay, for equations, we've got the absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals 9. When we're doing these, we're always going to have 2 equations that we have to solve. Why? Because there's 2 different values I can plug in for x that will be the same distance away. So here's how this works. So the first time we're just going to copy what we see. We're just going to lose the absolute value bars. Everything else identical. The second time we do it, everything inside's the same. Notice this didn't become plus 5. Okay? It's still exactly what's in here. But we change our solution side, our answer side, to negative. And you'll get to see why here in just a second. So once we do that, we solve both of these. So we go ahead, trying to get our x by itself. And again, at least when you're doing notes, try to show all the steps like I am here. It gives it much more value later for you when you're going back looking at something going, where did I get that answer from? If you've actually shown the work for it. Okay, so we get 7 on that one. Then we do the same thing on this other one, and it doesn't mean like it did up here when it was just x, it's just going to be plus minus. You have to do the work. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. And as you can see here, we're definitely not getting a plus minus. You're like, okay, so how do I know if I'm right? Besides checking an answer somewhere. Plug it in. 2 times 7 is 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. And the absolute value of 9 would be 9. Okay, that one works. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Minus 5 is negative 9, but we just got done saying it can be negative inside, but when it comes out, the absolute value of negative 9 would be 9. That's a check. Over here, when I did it, the absolute value of 9 would be 9. Check. Do you have to check answers every time? No. But if you get one that's strange sometime, that's a way you can do it. So when we get to the solving part here, and again, I'm not going to drive you crazy by doing these in big bunches. We're just going to go ahead. We'll do a quick one here. Let's go ahead and do number 2. So here, I'll give you answers for that one here, though, in a minute, so we can at least let you make sure you see things are going good. So 7t plus 3 equals 4. 7t plus 3 equals negative 4. Got to remember to change our sign. And then again from there, just solve, and we're good. Opposite of plus 3 is minus 3. We'll get you set. Over here, same thing. Getting rid of the +3, we'll -3. Also helps you to keep from making as many mistakes when you're showing work, because somebody's like clutching your brain like, that isn't what I meant to do. Get my t. Okay, and again, I can plug them in, but I don't need to. Okay, and just to give you an FYI, so you could practice one on your own if you wanted to give a shot to it here. I'll get those solutions for you over here so you could try that out if you wanted to get an extra. Okay, what happens if stuff is going on outside the absolute value? Like here, the absolute value is just alone. I can jump right in. Make sure, if there is other stuff going on, that you take care of that first. So in other words, here, I've got this 2/3 in the way here. Okay? 2 ways I can take care of this. I can multiply by the reciprocal. I could multiply by 3/2 right away. That would be fine. And the fastest way. Now, when I multiply by the 3/2 on each side, let's do it this way. On this side, the 3/2 is just there to cancel out your fraction. Okay? Don't distribute it. That's all it's there to do. To get my absolute value alone. And then over here, there's a couple things I can do. I can do 2 times 3 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. I could make both of these fractions multiply across and simplify. Or if I wanted to, you can always pull out the handy-dandy calculator here if you wanted to go that route. Just do 2 times 3/2. Just make sure the parentheses are there. Okay? They all work. So once I get here, now I go ahead and I do my split job. So I've got my 1 plus 2x equals 3. Just copying. 1 plus 2x equals -3. And again, we're just going to kind of whip through here. Again, the amount of work you show is going to be up to you, but with me, the more I show, the better job I seem to do. Get my answers. And then just kind of again here, okay, we get to 4. We're like, okay, what's my job? What's my goal? My goal is to get the absolute value by itself. How do I do this? Okay, I'm going to -5. I'm going to -5. Okay. Some of you may be wondering at this point why this one is double starred and why I'm pausing here and not splitting it into 2 right away. There's a very special case going on here. When in your original problem, okay, when you still have the absolute value bars, before you split these in half, if you have a negative on this side, let's think about this for a minute. We know 2 things about what comes out of here. Whatever answer I get, going to be positive or 0. Okay? Is there a positive number that equals -2? Nope. Okay? Does 0 equal -2? Nope. So when you're doing equations, if before you split them, I can't say this enough. Okay? If you get a negative before the split, okay? The answer is no solution. You go on. There is not a number I can plug in for x that when I take the absolute value, I can get this. Because this has to come out positive or 0. Okay? But again, only before. It doesn't mean we can't get negatives once we split, because then the absolute value bar is gone. I know that's kind of funky. Kind of funky, but it's the way those work. So keep that one handy. That could save you later. I'm just saying. Okay, last one here. Now, how do I know which one of these I'm getting rid of first? This is just me. If there's ever a plus or a minus, I'm getting rid of that first. Okay, why? Because if I divide first, I have to divide this. I have to divide this. Ooh, now I'm getting fractions. I got to divide this. It's more fractions. Okay? Once per side. Plus and minus, get rid of that first. The only exception occasionally is a fraction. It just depends. Now again, here I'm not ready to split yet. Got to isolate, get it alone first. And I'm not quite there. So get that divided out. Now I'm ready to split. Okay? Absolute value, completely alone before we split. So 2 minus x equals 3. 2 minus x equals negative 3. Again, no more absolute value bar. That's legal. I can get an answer. And now, again, it's a small detail that we're watching out for here. Because now, that's a positive 2, so I'm going to minus it out. That is a negative x. That isn't just x. I'm not done. And I'm not subtracting 1 from x. I'm multiplying it, which means the opposite is to divide. Now, once I get that on the first one, it shouldn't cause me trouble on the second one. I hope not. Make sure I'm not blocking myself out here. That's why usually when I just see x in something, notice I put the 1 in there just to remind me that it's there. And I get my solutions. Okay? So like 9 times out of 10, probably 19 times out of 20. It's just going to be normal, like 3 and 5. Occasionally, though, get that negative. Hopefully it starts to click as we take a peek. Okay, so your job, back here, the practice part. Again, the answers are in the back. So if you have, haven't been doing that, get yourself that practice. Again, try them out. Keep it simple. The answers are right on the back this time. I didn't even go ahead and put them in the back. So sometimes if you don't see them in the back, check the back and see. And we'll be back with you very soon for our next portion of absolute valuing.